All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Wealth Building for Dummies podcast. My name is Kyle Demian. I'm your dummy for today, and I'm joined by a special guest. We don't have Renji today, but we have Renji's wife, Nina. Nina, how are you doing?
Good. I'm dummy number three.
Dummy
Dummy.
number 3 for our podcast. She's the one that helps us with all the editing behind the scenes and everything. Awesome. Well, today that's exactly what we're going to be talking about is how to blow up your social media accounts and how to help you crush social media, whether it's for your own personal brand or for your business. We're going to give insight to behind how we have built social media followings of Nina. How many followers does Renji have on like TikTok and social platforms?
We've got about 50,000 right now on TikTok. I'm not quite sure on Instagram how many, um, but TikTok's where we focus mostly.
TikTok, and same here. So Nina has helped Renji build a 50,000 following on TikTok. I have a TikTok account of about 90,000 plus, and we're going to be sharing our secrets and our tips and tricks and just our story of how we got into producing content for social media and how we've evolved. Because where we're at right now is so different from where we started. Probably about 2 years ago is when we started posting content and editing for TikTok and Facebook, right?
Right.
Let's start there. Like, just fill us in on, because we started about the same time. But what got you guys into wanting to post on social media? And just fill us in about the beginning and what that looked like for the two of you.
I think a big part of it was our mentor, Kyle. Renji and I all have the same mentor. Shout out to Will. And he really has paved the way for us to show us what it looks like to have an online presence and what that can do for your business. And even just generating leads and bringing more people to you rather than you going to people. When we started our business, Renji had, he's not really keen on social media. He rarely posts. And so he kind of asked me to take over the social media. I'm like, are you really sure you want me to do that? I can try. So I went ahead and I took over it. And I started off by just like posting on Instagram, just like articles and little informational pictures. But then I quickly realized that the way to capture attention is through video. Most people are getting their information across, what they do, how they help people through video. And I realized that I myself as a consumer was consuming a lot of video. So that was the way for us to go.
Yeah, and fast forward now, 2+ years since we started, in just about every single platform is video. Instagram used to be just pictures. Now, as I scroll through my Instagram account, I think just about every single post is a video. Facebook's becoming more videos, and of course, TikTok and YouTube have always been videos. But now I feel like every single platform is going into video content, and what Nina said there was to capture attention. And whether or not, you have your own business, maybe you're an employee, maybe you're in sales, but if you want to grow your sales or grow your business, the number one way to do it is to capture attention from the people that already know and like you, right? But who knows you and who knows what you do? A lot of times people just, go to their job, they come home from work, or go into their business, they come home from work, and they're never posting about it. They're never talking about it. But one way for marketing to grow your business is through social media platforms. We've talked about it before. There's only, about 4 or 5 ways to grow your business through marketing. And we're going to dive into how to do it, through social media. So when you and Renji got started, um, Renji wasn't excited to get behind the camera and to jump on the camera, was he?
No, he absolutely hated it. Um, if you could see the cut footage, or I guess the raw footage of when we would film, there was a lot of fighting, a lot of yelling. Um, the thing is, I know him so well. I know what his personality is like, and that's what I wanted to bring out on camera. I think one of the most powerful things about social media and video is that you can build a brand. You can show people who you are. You can create that trust. You can create the ability for people to see the genuine you. And I think that's important, especially when you're talking about your business, your services, what it is that you do to solve people's problems. And I know genuinely, he's a nice guy, he's a goofy guy, and I knew how to pull that out of him. But he doesn't like doing that on the camera, right?
Mhm.
Without the camera, that's him naturally. So it took some time. A lot of times when you're starting off with social media, just being in front of the camera, it's hard for me to say because I'm not the face, you know, that does
Yeah.
this. But maybe you can elaborate on that because you're the one who's, in front of the camera, what that experience is like.
So for me, I think Renji and I are very much alike where we're goofy, when we're not in the spotlight, when we're not on the camera. But I feel like that's not just us, that's majority of people. But anytime you turn on the camera, the number one fear is, am I going to make myself look stupid? I think that's what it is. How are other people going to judge me and how are other people going to see me? Because not everybody is turning on the camera and putting themselves out there. Most people are the keyboard warriors, right? They're stuck behind the screen watching everything else that's going on. Right. But we quickly realize, from our mentor and from other, people in the entrepreneurship space that the people that are growing their businesses at the highest rates, they're all on camera. They're all putting themselves out there, and that's what it takes to be known, to bring in more business, to have people start to know who you are and how you can help them is through getting uncomfortable. And that's a lot about what business is in the first place. And I wasn't comfortable initially. I know Renji wasn't through the conversations I've had with him, but just get started, and I think that's the number one piece of advice we can give to you if you're watching this not knowing where to go or how to get started. Just start filming, right? Turn on the camera. And here's another thing. You mentioned the raw footage and the different cuts and things. Yeah, when I first filmed, my video would be like 5 minutes long for a 30-second message, and I would cut it up at the right points where I was saying something that I was saying it clearly, people could understand it and it made sense with the rest of the video. So you can film a 5 minute long video, you can have your mistakes in there, but then on the back end, you go and just clip it up and cut it up. So it sounds like one 30-second long video that's concise. You're getting to your point, you're telling your message. And that's what you can do with the editing. You don't have to get it right the first time. You don't have to memorize some script. Just turn on the camera and start recording. And your first one is probably going to be embarrassing. You're probably going to hate it. You're probably not going to want to post it. But if you just post once and then you never post again, of course you're leaving just that one video out there for people to watch and listen to. And if it's bad, sure, they may say, "Oh, what is Renji? What is Kyle up to?" But if you post every single day, they're going to see you evolve. You're going to evolve. Your skill set's going to grow. And that's how you're going to get better and better at doing this. Just like riding a bike. The first time you got on your bike, you probably fell off, right? You might have been embarrassed, but then you got up again and you tried again. You probably fell off again. And once again, just like anything, this relates just as much as we've talked about in our previous episodes. You learn through your failures, you keep building your skills, and then eventually you get to a point where, hey, maybe you've got 5,000 followers. And now you have 5,000 new people that know you, understand you, know what you do, and now you can help them through your business or whatever it is that you do. Nina, was there anything in there that you kind of wanted to expand on or to touch on? Because I know I went over a couple different things.
Yeah, I think there was a couple things that I was thinking about. One is actually the specific piece of advice that Will gave me was if you have something of value to share with the world and you don't do it, you're being selfish. I think that was the first time Renji and I were like, oh, okay, we have information that's so valuable, and you understand how much it helps people. But if we never put it out there, you know, we can still help people, but we're not going to do it on the scale that we've been doing it, you know? Um,
For sure.
and then the second thing was, I think you talked about, It can be cringy at times when you're getting started. Uh, Man, that reminds me of the very first video that blew up for us was that Soldier Boy video. And, I had Renji he was just so goofy at the beginning of that video. He's doing a little Soldier Boy dance. We got, one of the reasons that video went viral was for the cringe aspect, you know? But if you think about it, we got in front of over 5 million pairs of eyes from just that one video. And that's where people started to follow. Um, and it's just the compound effect of that, and how many videos we've posted since then. If you add up all the views and all the comments, and you know in your daily life you're not going to come across 200 people. Like, say you post a video today and maybe 200 people see it, right? That's probably on the low end. You're not going to meet 200 people in your regular day where you can get a message out across to them, right? Or even 2 seconds of your message.
Yeah.
So that's the power of social media.
Absolutely. And it's more of a long-term game too. Like I think too often we see people that start posting content and then they don't see the results within maybe 30, 60, 90 days and they just stop. And that's just when you're starting to build momentum, right? You're getting better at the skill. You're getting more comfortable being on camera. But maybe you still only have, 200 people seeing your video. But all you need, especially with TikTok, I think TikTok's probably the best app to start with because it is probably the most easily viral platform to go explode on, I would say, because their algorithm has it so you get in front of more people that are interested in whatever you may be talking about. And so, um, like you mentioned, getting eyes on your business, where else can you have 5 million people, potentially hear your story, hear your message if you're not posting on social media? Most people won't even talk to 5 million people in their life about their business. While you can film a 1 minute video and that can go out and 5 million people can see it, like that's the impact that it can have. And so with that, let's kind of go over, okay, we talked about how to get started, overcome the fear. Once you're actually getting started, though, like what are some resources people can use to start to learn, first of all, how do I edit a video? Or what should I even look for? How does it work? Like, what kind of insights or tips can you give people to, I guess, the basics of editing and starting to film their first pieces of content?
So with me, I've had a bit of a design background, so some of this stuff came a lot easier to me than most people. Um, Kyle, I've seen you grow and develop your skills like crazy when it comes to like the post production side of your content creation. Whether people start from ground zero, where all you know how to do is hit the record button on your camera, you have to start with where you are at. Because if you don't start, you'll never do anything. So if all you know how to do is pick up your camera and hit the record button, that's where I would suggest people just, even if it's you're getting used to it and just you're doing it for yourself to get comfortable, I would say pick up the camera and start talking. Then the second thing is e- everything that you could possibly ever want to learn about, simple editing, cutting videos, adding sound effects, adding text, adding graphics, adding little B-roll clips to your video. It can all be found on YouTube University. Anything you want to learn to do, you can find it on there. Even TikTok, you can learn to do it in 30 seconds, right? So, as a as someone who wants to create content, I think the first step is you need to be a consumer of content, but not as a consumer. You want to be a consumer of content as a content creator. So whenever I'm scrolling on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever platform it is, I'm always looking at things from a creative point of view. It can be a completely different industry, but I see this video has performed very well. What is it about this video that makes it so good? Is it the person's energy? Is it the hook that they're using to capture my attention? What is it about this video that makes me want to watch all the way through? And then something else that I do on the regular is I spend a lot of time scrolling within our own niche. So within the financial service industry, I scroll through that because there's nothing new under the sun. Everything that is out there has been done. A lot of the videos we've produced, the same information's out there. We just deliver it with our own personal message, our own personal style, and the way we like to do it. So I always look at what's working for other people, whether the information is good, but they just don't have the views. How can I make it better? Because some people need this information. Or I go at it from the opposite perspective where, okay, this video has so many views. How can I recreate this in our own style?
I like that. So you're scrolling with intent to learn and grow your skill set rather than just scrolling for the purpose of entertainment,
Yes.
which is and you mentioned having a hook. Let's talk about how to create a piece of content that has the potential to go viral because they're not all going to go viral. There's been some times where we've shared our videos back and forth and we're like, this is amazing, right? This is the one that's going to go viral. We've thought it so many times, it just doesn't. But like when we're going through that phase and when we are crafting our messages of what to post, like break that down. What is your thought process of creating the video and how does that go?
I don't know if it's just my brain, but I think in story. I'm a
Hmm.
very visual person. My brain understands things within stories. So whenever I'm trying to um, simplify like a high concept level within like a financial product or something like that, I try and break it down and think, how can this translate kind of almost like storytelling, right? Um, there's also you can also present the problems because here's the thing, with most businesses we're solving problems, right? So
Yes.
there's a problem and we have the solution, and a lot of times people don't even realize that they have this problem until we bring it up. And so being able to highlight the problem in a way where people are like, oh wait, this is an issue that I have, I need help to solve this, and get them to reach out. um, I think with hooks, a lot of times when people start off with content creation, they make the mistake of introducing themselves. Hey guys, I just wanted to hop on here today, and my name is Nina, and this is my company, blah, blah, blah. And you realize when, if you study content, or if you're consuming content in a way to be studied, you realize that nobody cares. Nobody really cares.
Do not ever say that.
Nobody really cares about who you are, right? They care about themselves and the problems that they have. And so what I've noticed is we hardly ever introduce ourselves or talk about who we are in our content creation because we just get down to the facts, right? So when we open up those videos, I want to bring that problem across. Like, it doesn't always have to be a verbal hook. It can be a visual hook. You recently did one where you were talking about the national debt, and you were sitting in front of the camera and you had the debt scroll, the clock ticking, and that's an immediate, hook for me because I'm like, oh wow, that's a big number and it keeps going. What is he going to say about this? There's tons of ways to do these hooks where it's almost like that shock factor to bring people back to reality. Like, hey, this is a problem and this is why you need to solve this problem.
Yeah. And one more thing on the hook too, but think about it like this. People are just mindlessly scrolling all day, right? And if they're going to come across your video And yeah, you started off by saying, "Hey guys, hope everyone's having a good day. I just sat down with a client and we were talking about, their 401k and they lost money in the market." Like that took so long. Humans have the attention span of a goldfish, probably less, where they're swiped by the time you finally got into your story. So yeah, what we do is we focus on a hook that within 2 to 3 seconds is going to give the listener a reason to stay on our post and to watch the rest of the 1 minute. And I found myself sometimes where like I'll record out the whole piece of content and I find my hook at the very end. And it's usually like a summary of the video. And I've taken that hook and just put it at the beginning of my video. And think about it like a newspaper headline,
Yep.
right? If newspaper headlines are perfect examples because there's usually one sentence that sums up everything that you're going to read or learn about in that newspaper article. And they do a good job of spiking interest and attention to get you to read it, right?
That was
Newspapers,
the original clickbait.
yeah, newspapers are the original clickbait. Yeah, what's going to stop you as you're walking by and you see a newspaper on a stand on the side of the road? What's going to have you stop by and buy that newspaper? Right? So think about it like from that aspect. You have the headline, then you have the story, and then one thing that the newspaper doesn't really do because it doesn't serve a purpose. One thing that you need to have in addition to your content is then a call to action. So those are the three parts of any video that you should focus on when you're doing content creation: hook, story, and call to action. You got to tell your listeners or your viewers what to do with the information that they just learned from you, whether that's to follow you, whether that's to message you, or whether that's to click your link in the bio or do something else, right? Share with a friend. Tell them what to do with the information that they just gathered. Otherwise, they're probably just going to continue to scroll on. But their subconscious mind is listening to you. And if you tell them to go click the link in your bio to learn more, maybe 30% of them will. Otherwise, if you didn't have that piece, probably none of them would have converted. None of them would have went to your link in your bio to learn more because they don't know. They don't know what they don't know. And sometimes you have to tell them, right?
Exactly.
So in regards to that, one other thing I was thinking of, because our videos went viral because they were controversial as well. My video that went viral, she talked about theirs, which was about Soldier Boy being able to borrow money from banks and what banks do with our money. Mine was more so about like the secrets that the wealthy don't want others to know. So you can already hear that, like, number one, it's controversial. Number two, it's like secretive knowledge. So like if that starts to get your brains churning on what goes viral, it's typically controversial or like what's a secret or what's just things that people don't know that are in your industry. And I'm sure, you guys can think of plenty of things that the average American doesn't know, especially if it's in whatever your business is that you're the expert in, right? So, Nina, I've got one more question for you, and then we can kind of sum it up and wrap it up if there's anything else we want to end with. But for anybody that's just getting started, wants to build a large audience online, what would you say is like your number one tip or your number one recommendation?
Getting started. I mean, it's such a cliche piece of advice. Like I said, if you don't know how to record, I mean, if all you know how to do is hit the record button and start somewhere. People don't know what you do until you start putting it out there, and people are watching too. Within our warm market, with people that we know, we've received a lot of business that way because they've followed our journey. And sometimes when you're starting out, people won't reach out. But it, like you said, it's consistency, consistently posting. They're waiting to see, are you going to give this up at some point? Is this just like a fluke business? Or, are you going to continue to pursue this? And then over time, we've, you know, we've built our presence. We've built our what do you call it? Like, we've built him as the expert. Um, you know, one, he did the work to do that, but as far as being able to put out good quality information for people to get them to think, and that's how people have reached out. Um, Utilize the resources that are out there as far as like YouTube and all of these things are free. CapCut is free. It's probably one of the most easiest editing tools I've ever used. as far as videos come, and learn one thing at a time. If all you learn to do is cut a video, you that gives you an advantage. Like you said, Kyle, you can record a 5-minute video and you can cut it down to where it's that second good, valuable information. And then next time, learn the sound effect to kind of pattern interrupt people and get their attention. Work on your hooks. Learn how to, add little graphics or little videos that we call B-roll to just continue to capture that, people's focus. Uh, and it's that's how we've built. We didn't really know much when we started, either of us, and we just learned a little bit at a time. And you can see the progression of our videos through our channels. The quality has been much better, but that didn't happen overnight.
Correct. Yeah. And social media is something that's not going away anytime soon. So you're never late to the game. If anything, if you're not in the game, oh, there we go. Lost focus for a second. You're not late to the game. And if anything, if you're not in the game, if you're not posting to social media, there's other people in your business, in your market that are, and they're going to take all the clients. If you're going out to eat in a new city, what do? You Google, what's the best restaurants around me. If you don't have a social media following, if you don't have presence, if people don't know what you do, they're never going to associate you when they themselves come across that problem, or if somebody that they know comes across that problem. But in the instance of Renji and I, where we built up a following in our warm market and our cold market through TikTok and through Facebook and through other social media problems, when anybody thinks of retirement or money or growing and building wealth, we would like to think that by now we are at least one person that comes to their mind, and that didn't happen overnight. That didn't happen in a year. It's taken 2+ years of us creating content to do it. But every day that you stay on the sidelines and you're not posting content is another day that goes by where you're potentially losing out on someone that you could help. So Nina, I think this is, number one, going to be our longest podcast. So you're already a better co-host than Renji. No, I'm just kidding. But so far, I think this has been a great show just to give the insight into how and why to start filming content, right? How to edit it, use CapCut, use Canva, two great free resources that you can learn how to use through YouTube. I think they even have some tutorials on their sites as well. And then lastly, where should you be posting this content to? Wherever you're located, whatever social media you're located on, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. If you're on LinkedIn, you could post on LinkedIn too. And just keep in mind, like, you're going to have different connections on different sites. So you should be posting it across all platforms. And with that, Nina, anything else you want to round out our show with? I think this has been very informative, though. This is awesome.
I think just going to remember when you're what are people going to think? People are going to make fun of you. There are going to be those people. I think that you have a quote about haters. I think if you don't have haters, then you're doing something right. I think is it close to that?
Oh, you were asking me. You broke up there for a second, but I can hear you now. Yeah, and it comes from Russell Brunson. He said if you don't have a hater by like 10 o'clock in the morning, you're not marketing yourself hard enough. You know, and that's exactly what he's talking about is going against the grain, being controversial, standing up for what you believe in. And there's going to be some people that just don't see it that way. But 50% of the world hates Donald Trump. The other 50% love him. Same thing with other social media influencers and real estate gurus and entrepreneurs. Half of the population hates them. The other half of the population love them. And if you want to build a following on social media for people that know you, love you, and want to do business with you, that may be what you have to do. And it's okay. That's what comes with the territory. That's what comes with going viral, but it's going to grow and expand your business as well. So Nina, I want to thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to jump on and get in front of the camera with us today, because you have helped Renji, expand and grow his business and his social media following and content. I know you've been a great help to me. And, hopefully you guys got something out of this as well. And most importantly, just got some encouragement to start doing this for yourself, for whatever you do. And maybe you don't have a business yet, but you want to start one. Start just, documenting your life and the process. I know a single mom that has kids that just documents everything in the process. And she has a bunch of followers that I think now she's turned it into a business. Like, people will follow and watch anything on social media because everyone's on there and everyone's looking for entertainment in different ways. It's a crazy thing. But yeah, this was another episode of the Wealth Building for Dummies podcast. And make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And stay tuned for more episodes in the future. Thank you guys for tuning in. Take care.